All right, what's going on, guys? This is the Out of the Park podcast. We got a very special guest. He's back for part 2 of his episode. We got Lucas. How you been doing, Lucas?
What's going on? I'm psyched to be back.
I've seen you've been very active on social media. You just had a EP drop for 4 songs, right?
Yeah, it dropped on December 27th, and so we're about a week past the release date, and it's been doing really well. I'm excited about it.
So you kind of want to go over like is there meanings behind some of the songs, or even meaning behind like the EP title of Tone Deaf?
So I'll start with the title of Tone Deaf. When I was in the studio, my buddy, shout out to Xander from Sony Pass Studios, but when we were in the studio, after like the third studio session, he brought up like, we want to have a title for this project. And I was coming up with a bunch of different stuff and it just wasn't sticking. But then I was looking in my notes where I usually write my lyrics, and Tone Deaf was an idea. And the reason for that is almost like my mantra, the way Hardy has quit. Tone Deaf is that for me because I had an ex a little while ago who basically I revealed my dreams to her about like, I want to sing, I want to release music, I want to learn to play guitar. But every single time I would try to sing, every single time I would show her something I recorded, immediately the response would be, "You're tone deaf, you can't do it, this is impossible for you." And those words definitely stuck to me for a long time because obviously it's like, at the time it's someone you care about very deeply, kind of telling you like, this is impossible, you can't do it, like it's literally impossible for you to achieve this goal. So when I put out Tone Deaf, I initially with my Instagram post, I was like, guys, I've been doing this not very long. I've been playing guitar 2 years, singing for a year. But I just want you guys to know this phrase, tone deaf, for me just represents perseverance and dedication in yourself and self-belief that like you truly can do anything if you're willing to be consistent and put your mind to it. So that's where the tone deaf comes from.
It's great how you're able to take something that was, I would imagine, very negative at the time and just turn it into something that you're releasing out to everyone. Like, it's great that you're able to kind of, like you said, persevere through everything. And like, I mean, I would imagine like, because how long were you guys dating at the point that she said that?
I think we were dating for about a year. It was like right around 1 year that I had these goals of wanting to sing and play guitar. And around that time was when she said, "You're tone deaf." And then I think we dated for another 5 or 6 months after that. And it wasn't like a one-time thing. It was constantly, repeatedly like, "You're tone deaf, stop trying, don't do this."
Wow. Dang, that's crazy. I mean, it's great. It definitely like lit a fire for you to kind of put this out, and like, I mean, obviously no disrespect to her or anything, but like it helped you create music, and I think that's a lot of what a lot of like artists do. They take their past experiences and everything they go through, and then they kind of just put it into music, and it turns out great. And I mean, I had a opportunity to listen to some of it. It's pretty good. I mean, I got the unreleased stuff right away, so that was great. But no, I mean, it's definitely great that you're able to take like that type of past experience and turn it into something so positive and something that you're enjoying a lot more now. And it's just kind of like it's working out for you so far. I know a lot of people have listened to it. You said before you had a couple hundred
Yeah, right now on Spotify, there's 315 streams, and I'm still waiting to get feedback on like Apple Music, YouTube, and the other platforms. But I mean, I'm happy about that.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like that's a really good like baseline, because it's your first time releasing actual music outside of like posting on Snapchat and everything. So for like 350 plus viewers to view it first time is like crazy. Now obviously it's going to go up from there as you continue to release music, and I'm sure you have a lot of songs that you've been working on, but I think it's definitely great that you're starting it now and you're realizing like, yeah, this is something like I want to like continue to do, I would imagine.
Oh, 100%. And it's a strange story for me because I used to sing all the time when I was real young. So like all through elementary school, I was in chorus, I performed in the talent shows. But then 6th grade came along, and it was like I was strongly encouraged to just focus on sports. So after 6th grade, I stopped doing any kind of music, and I didn't even try singing again until I was 19. And then 19 is when I picked up this guitar that my grandmother bought me when I was probably 11 years old. And I didn't touch it for years. But then when I turned 19, it was like I needed to have some kind of an outlet from baseball and some other stuff that was going on. So I picked up that guitar, learned to play it, and I would say 85% I was self-taught.
Mhm.
I took like 6 or 7 guitar lessons, and then from there it was everything self-taught.
That's the perfect way.
Mm.
Like you had a goal in mind and you just took it in, like you made yourself learn something new, and like it's great to see that you're doing something like this. Like I mean everyone can say like, oh, I make music, everything like that. They can record it themselves, everything, but like it takes a lot to get that like confidence almost to post it and everything, and it seems like you've been doing all the right things so far. So I mean it's great. And I know I've seen you work with Xander and everything. It seems like a very fun process.
Yeah, he really and again, shout out to Sony Pass Studios, because I remember like him and I obviously have been buddies ever since I got to Albright,
Mm-hmm.
but I didn't feel confident to go to him and say like I want to record music with you. I spent a lot of time like doing vocal lessons, playing guitar, and then I think it was like first day of the fall semester, I sat next to him in the lunchroom and I just put my hand on his shoulder and I said, "Hey man, I want to make music with you. I want to learn from you." And I mean, thank goodness that he was so eager and like jumped at it,
Mm-hmm.
because I mean, if it wasn't for him, I wouldn't have this EP out and I still would be very far behind in just the learning process of what it takes to write music, play music, and then perform it.
Wow. Yeah, I mean, he's definitely very what is it? He's very experienced with that type of stuff. He's been through all of that, so it's great that you've been able to kind of learn from him and everything. So, you have 4 songs. The names are
So Fall in Love Again, Something Out of Nothing, Time Traveler, and Worth Chasing.
so were they all just like does each title have like a meaning behind it, or was it kind of just like you feel like you recorded and everything, you're like, okay, I think this like fits it, or is there like a deeper meaning to each song?
Each song definitely has a personal meaning to me. Like every song I write, I got a lot of unreleased stuff now that's from personal experience or it's like a feeling I've had.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Fall in Love Again, which seems to be like the fan favorite of the EP. That's like half a personal experience. So I was listening to a Nate Smith song basically about like you're broken from either a past experience or a past relationship, but then someone else is like cares about you enough to step in and basically say like I want to help you, I want to be there for you. And that's what Fall in Love Again is about. It's
Mm-hmm.
kind of saying like, you know, I was in a bad situation, a bad circumstance, and then this person who cared enough about me kind of came in and helped me grow and helped me heal as a person.
Mm-hmm.
And then you've got Something Out of Nothing, which is actually that's the oldest song that I wrote. I think I wrote that song a week after we did our last podcast together,
Wow.
because and that one 100% personal experience. It's just about the fact that like you have those moments in a relationship where you think there's something there, you guys think you have something special. It's like you're dating, you're making all this effort, but then when you start getting towards the end, or you kind of start waking up to the fact that like you're trying so hard and this really isn't a good relationship, like there's nothing here, there's no spark. And obviously at the end of that chorus I say it was my mistake to try to make something out of nothing.
Mm-hmm.
And I just thought that title really spoke to me, because it was like there was nothing here from the start, but it was like I was trying so hard to make it something.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like a lot of people can relate to that. um and then you've got Time Traveler, which again, this is a strange one. So I wrote that one last summer, and I remember the exact place I was when I came up with the idea. So I'm at my job working at a golf course, and it's like 5:30 in the morning, and I'm just going around to the tee boxes, filling divots, and I get to like I think it was the 6th green or something like that, and I had this idea for a song. It was like that particular day, I was just thinking a lot about past experiences and like past friends and all that. And for a short moment, it was like, excuse me, it felt like I went back in time because I was thinking about the past so hard. And I feel like whether it's a relationship, past experience, or just the good old days, people can relate to just being stuck in the past so much. So Time Traveler, that's basically, I wrote it mainly about a girl, but it can
Mm-hmm.
be about any experience where you're just thinking about the past so hard that you feel like you're time traveling back to that moment. And then finally, Worth Chasing, which I wrote that song probably a week before we started recording.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason I wanted to put that on the EP was like because of the significance of the title Tone Deaf to me, I felt like Worth Chasing was an important song just about like, even though people tell you shouldn't, like, live a normal life, do normal things, like, don't try to do anything significant. It's like, if if this dream, if this goal is worth dreaming of to you, then it's worth chasing.
Mhm.
And that's what I was trying to explain in the song. And then in the bridge, I was like, I think the strongest thing I could tell people is like, you're not meant to be ordinary. So it's like, whatever you want to do, you get one life, you only get one chance. Whatever you want to do, it's worth chasing. If you
Mhm.
truly feel passionate enough about it to work hard, take the constructive criticism, and even accept some setbacks from time to
Mhm.
time.
Yeah, I love the meaning behind all of those. Like they really have a they really have like a deeper meaning outside of just what they're called. And I mean, I'm not in like music or anything, so I don't really know what goes into actually like titles of songs and everything, but like it's cool to hear like the actual meaning behind the song names and everything like that. So, is this like something like I guess like getting into like the future goals, is this like what are your goals with music, and then what are kind of your goals with like life, like because I know you're you're just about to graduate soon, you're going into your last semester soon here. What is like your goals with music, and what's your goals for life?
So, definitely my goals for music is I want to keep writing songs and releasing it as an independent artist, but I'm also interviewing for jobs in finance right now.
Mm-hmm.
So, obviously, like, I don't have any traction to get a publishing contract to be a writer or to be an artist, and I'm barely making any money off of this EP. So, I'm getting my degree in finance, and I 100% want to make sure I get a good job and put my time and effort into that. But what's interesting is, for all my life, it felt like I was going to school and then playing baseball, which was like my dream, exciting thing that I woke up every morning ready and driven to do. It's going to turn into my job and then music.
Mm-hmm.
But 100%, I'm going to keep writing music. I'm going to keep performing as much as I can until I can make songwriting my career. And then songwriting is kind of like what I've learned, at least from listening to a lot of podcasts and talking to people. It's like the way you get your foot in the door to actually be an artist. Because if you can write really well and you can create, that'll lead to you having success as an artist. So I
Mm-hmm.
just want to keep getting better, releasing music and writing, and then hopefully in a couple years I can make that my career.
Mm-hmm. So this is definitely something like a long-term career that you kind of want to be performing all over and everything like that.
Yeah, 100%. I still remember the time when I was, a little kid to get on that stage with a microphone and just sing for a crowd. And it's not even just about me doing the act, it's about seeing the crowd of people who are connecting to the music, who enjoy listening to you. Maybe they're going through hard times and listening to that song helps bring them out of a dark place.
Mm-hmm.
That's what really drives me and inspires me because there's a lot of artists that I know I would listen to, and it was like if I was going through a hard time, it made me feel better, it made me feel more motivated, and I just want to do that for other people.
Yeah, no, that's a great motivation and everything. So what are kind of your do you have any like life goals outside of like music? Do you have anything that you really want to do? Like, I mean, obviously like, you're gonna continue to work on music, but is there anything you want to do outside of music?
I mean, all my life, I've definitely had a passion for fitness.
Mm-hmm.
So I want to continue to get healthier. And then if the opportunity comes, I might just get a little more active on social media with like giving people fitness advice, just give them life advice. Um, and obviously, like, I definitely want to have a family someday. So, and I don't have a particular timeline for that. It's like I'm open to whatever comes my way, but I definitely want to be married and have children at some point in my life.
Mm-hmm.
So while I'm doing all this, that's definitely a life goal for me.
Yeah, no, it's perfect to start on social media and give that type of advice because there's always people out there looking for that type of like motivation and just advice from people like them that are like going through all this different stuff. And I mean, I know I see it all over my like For You page on TikTok is people giving advice, but although there are a lot of people doing it, there's so much like building room for you to do it and like be successful with it. So that's great. So what let's get into the relationship side. So what would you say is like your do you have like a type?
I wouldn't say I necessarily have a type because, I mean, through the couple relationships I've been in my life and just like girls I've hung out with, been around, like the first thing I would say is like just in general, you have to have a sense of humor. Because for me, it's like it can quickly get stressful if you're in a relationship with someone and it's like one of you or both of you isn't willing to laugh, isn't lighthearted, and doesn't like just being happy. It's like if you're with someone who is a glass half empty person
Mm-hmm.
and, you know, gets offended a lot or just doesn't like the idea of laughing and experiencing joy with their partner, I feel like that is a big problem that's just going to lead to people breaking up or splitting up. I would also say that as I've gotten older, it's like being a Christian and definitely making your faith a big part of your life. That's
Mm-hmm.
important to me as well because I've definitely learned, like the past couple of years, I've really tried hard to get more in tune with the teachings of the Bible, kind of go to church, learn from other people, and just continue to grow my faith as a person. And I think it definitely has made me a better person, but it's also kind of shown me that, like, it's a way for you to learn how to be a positive influence for others.
Mm-hmm.
So I would say that's definitely important. Um, and I mean, other than that, I mean, I don't really think I have a type,
Mm-hmm.
mainly because like there's people I get along with different beliefs, different interests, but like I'm an open-minded person,
Mm-hmm.
so I might have a better answer for that in like a year or two, but
Mm-hmm.
probably the only two things.
No, I think that was a pretty like a really solid answer, and you it seems like you believe more of like the personality over looks.
100%, yeah.
And I know that like nowadays it's like it's kind of hard for as much as people want to say they believe in like they'd rather have someone with a personality over looks, it's not always like shown with the people that they choose.
Well, I think something that's really affected that is social media and just this rise in like online dating because there's a lot of people now who like will meet their significant other online, whether it's
Mm-hmm.
on social media or online dating. And it's like if you're just looking at your screen, it's like you can't really get an idea of their personality just by looking at their social media or a picture of them.
Mm-hmm.
So it's almost like it's training your mind to only consider looks, which is why like when it comes to relationships or just connecting with new people, I really try to avoid starting anything on social media because I feel like I can't really get a good gauge of your personality or who you are if we're just texting.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why it's like I'm 100% a believer in like if you feel connected with someone, if you feel like there's a spark between you two, you got to approach them in person. You have to
Mm-hmm.
try to get as much face-to-face time as you possibly can.
Yeah, no, I mean, I know I'm crazy when I say this, but I mean, I definitely like I obviously would enjoy talking to someone in person a lot more than like just texting, but I do enjoy like the FaceTimes like with people and just like getting to know them like that and just starting off like that I think is a pretty good base. But then obviously I would much rather hang out with them in person. So when I talk to girls on like Snapchat or something, if someone DMs me or something like that, it's like I'd much rather talk to you on FaceTime over text because snaps and like for me texting's not my strong suit.
Me neither.
I don't really I don't enjoy texting and I don't respond back as fast as I should. And like there are times where I'll like look at it, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna respond to that in a couple minutes and I never do. And I that's totally on me, but I also feel like I can't express my words over text as well as I can in person. Like it's like you can hear the tone of how you're saying something in person rather than text. Like you can if I text someone something like this and they can't really think there could be multiple different thoughts going through their head like, oh, did he mean it like this or did he mean it like that? Like it's so hard to know how someone's actually feeling based off of a text, and that's why the talking like verbally to someone, even if it's just over FaceTime, so much better than going on Snapchat and sending a quick text and then thinking about, oh, how are they really meaning to put this, you know?
Well, that's the other thing because I did have a relationship a few years ago where it was like like arguments or disagreements would start via text because it was like because the tone was
Mm-hmm.
off, but it was like I'm just when I text people, it's like very rarely is there a lot of emotion behind it. Like if I have something really important to tell you, it's like it's either going to be in person or over the phone.
Mm-hmm.
And it was like I would text her or she would text me and it was like the tone would seem off. Like we would think they're mad or we would think the other one is like upset about something, and really that's not the case.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so that's why I just say, if you're in a relationship like for a couple months, whatever, like you guys 100% are dating, then obviously it's like you're busy. Texting will have to suffice or phone calls will have to suffice. But obviously, if it's a new relationship, I think you should really try to limit it to phone calls and in person as much as
Mm-hmm.
you can.
Yeah, no, it's definitely hard if you start out where you're not able to see them as much, but I also think that it's better that you don't have the constant being around someone and being in person. Like it definitely makes the start of your relationship harder, but I also think it benefits you because you're used to that just texting or just FaceTiming stuff like that. And then when you get in person, it's so much better to hang out with them, and I feel like you really know that person online and then you can finally like truly build with them in person. That's why I've never been against the whole thought of a long distance relationship, because I know I'm busy and I would imagine whoever I end up with is going to have a busy life like me or even busier than me, and I'm perfectly fine with that. So I've never really put off of a long distance relationship, because hanging out with someone every day I feel like is a marriage. And if I'm dating someone, obviously I want to date to marry, but I don't want to start off where I'm only giving them my free time. Like I have so many goals in life and I have so much I want to do within the next couple of years that yes, I'm like I said in our last podcast with Tyler, I'm open to the thought of finding someone, but there's got to be the boundaries at the same time where they have to know that I'm not going to be free 24/7 to talk. I'm not going to be free to text, everything like that. But they also have to realize that my goals are going to come before anything. And I want to build goals with a person that we can attain together. Like it's like we could be totally different sides of what we do with our careers and everything like that, but I want to find someone that's like obviously I vibe with, and then we can have goals that'll collide at some point. Even if like at the beginning it's like, well, they want to do this and I want to do that. Like I'm going to be in this state, they're going to be in that state. Like I think it still works as long as you can find that kind of common ground and like the common understanding between the two of you, to just know that at the end of the day it's going to work out.
I agree with that completely. And because one of the things I've learned over like the past couple of months is like, so I was like seeing this girl, and then we ended up going our separate ways like mid June. And really, since then, I've been single and I haven't been like actively looking for a girlfriend. And
Mm-hmm.
because what you said is completely correct, it's like you have to understand that number one, it's like both of you are going to have goals, both of you are going to have responsibilities. So you almost have to accept, no matter how much you like them, how much you love them, it's like you're not going to be able to spend all the time in the world with each other, which you shouldn't either way. But the other thing is, like, right now is a very busy and pivotal moment of my life. Like in the fall semester, I was playing baseball, I was writing and recording music, and then I was spending time with my family. And then in the past summer, I was playing baseball, working, and writing music. And I kind of realized that even though having a girlfriend at the time might have been nice, I was so busy that it was going to be limited to phone calls and maybe seeing each other once or twice a week.
Mm-hmm.
So I definitely would agree with, have your goals and always be willing to work on yourself. And when you get in a relationship, don't just throw your priorities aside because you feel like you have to spend 100% of your time with them. Because also, if they're if you're with somebody who supports you, your dreams and your goals, then it's like, even though it might be tough for them not to see you all the time, they're going to be happy to see you succeed, and I would
Mm-hmm.
be happy to see them succeed. And I think that's what really builds like a strong foundation for a family.
Mm-hmm.
If you get to the point where it's like one person in the relationship is like needs to spend time with you so bad that they're not willing to let you work on your goals, not willing to let you have other priorities, it's like that's just a recipe for disaster.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's going to hurt you individually, and it's also going to hurt the relationship.
Yeah, that's showing red flags right off the bat. So what do I would never think that if they're showing red flags right off the bat that it's going to work. Like I want to find someone that's I can I know is going to be the perfect, if I do decide to have like children, like I want to know that's going to be the perfect person to be the mother to my children. And there's so many things that I think go into deciding that, whether it's respecting space and communication, because I think communication is the number one thing. And I know it's a lot of communications online, like you said, so it's not ideal right now, but it's kind of where we're at in society, where everything's online, so people are slowly losing their communication skills in person. And I think that's really been a bad thing for our society, and it's something that I've embraced more, of just talking to more people and just being out there in the open and everything like that. But I also want to have that private life. Like I don't want someone that's going to like constantly post what we're doing. Like I need my private life. I need everything to stay private, because I think once you go public with things, that's when everyone sees, and then for some reason it just like makes me think that everyone's going to start trying to sabotage something that could be so great.
That's another lesson I've learned. I actually wrote a song about this too.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I feel like the beginning of the end for any relationship is when you start like airing out stuff that's supposed to be private between you two, which is why like now I'm not saying everything you guys do and everything you guys talk about has to stay like locked down private, but if you have arguments or disagreements or you're just communicating about future plans,
Mm-hmm.
I don't feel like you should be talking to other people about it, because number one, it's like something I've learned from experience is like if either one of you tells your friends like they did this thing that was a minor inconvenience or they said this that was kind of rude, it's like now that friend group is always going to have a negative opinion of you.
Mm-hmm.
Even if you're like, for men or for women, it's like if you're the sweetest, most kind-hearted person in the world and you're hardworking and you're always providing, it's like this one thing that you did, which could be minor or like one thing you said, if that gets out to other friend groups, now they always have a negative view of you, but also they're going to be very eager to encourage their friend to leave that relationship,
Mm-hmm.
which like I've experienced that, which is why like something important for me is like we have to we should keep the majority of what we talk about in house. We should keep it private, because it's like nobody else is experiencing this relationship but the two of us.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, sure, they can have their opinions, which is fine. But it's like you say one bad thing or one thing that kind of rubs your friends or your family the wrong way. It's like now you're at a huge disadvantage and it's going to take forever to like recover from that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I know. Like I need someone that is going to be cool with my friends. Like I don't want to go, like, yeah, like I could have like a close friend that I tell everything to, and it's like I'm not expressing the problems. Like I think problems have to stay within the two people instead of it becoming public, where you're telling so many people. I get like you have a close friend, you can tell them what's going on, get their advice, maybe everything like that. But it's when you tell them every problem, or you go tell your whole friend group, then like you said, they get a negative view, and I don't want someone that, like, I don't want my friends thinking negative about someone I'm dating. And I think that's another big thing in a relationship is, if you can't vibe with my friends, like how's it gonna work? Because I wanna be hanging out with my friends and then also have you there sometimes. Like it's a good mixture of hanging out with my friends alone and then having my significant other hanging out with my friends as well. And if they're automatically not liking them based off of things that either I've told them or vice versa or everything like that, it just kind of puts the other person at like a disadvantage or in like an awkward situation where they don't necessarily feel comfortable because they're getting like dirty looks from your friends, or they're getting like bad comments said to them or about them, and it just kind of creates a whole negative situation. And that could, like, it could be, you could be dating the perfect girl, and then like you tell your friend something, they have a negative view, they're obviously going to be like, yo, you might want to like step away from them or like stop talking to them, everything like that. And that's so bad because it could ruin such a good thing that you've built with that person. But I also appreciate all of my friends' comments and like everything that, like, their inputs, everything like that. Now it's not going to be the only thing I consider in like a big decision like that, but they definitely play like a minor part in some of the decision making that I would make for a future girlfriend.
And that's kind of the reason why I encourage like writing, and just even if it's journaling, songwriting like I do, like I've learned so much about myself just through writing songs. And also sometimes it can like get your negative emotions out, or you can take a better look at these positive emotions that you're feeling. And I just think that, like, to a degree, privacy with your friends, your family, and your relationship, it's always important. Um, and sometimes even for myself, it's like, uh, I will sit down. It's like if I had a bad day or something, I had a negative interaction with a friend or with my family, it's like I'll literally sit down and start writing a song about it.
Mm-hmm.
And even it doesn't even have to be a song. It can be journaling, it can be just like writing, but it helps get those negative emotions out, and then you can almost self-analyze yourself, which is kind of why, like, I've just gotten so addicted to writing songs. Like in the past 2 months, I probably write a song every other day, and it's just so good for like clearing the mind. It's so good to like get your emotions out, and then obviously you have like a good product in front
Mm-hmm.
of you to work with.
Yeah. So like currently, is there like a special lady you're talking to? Or are you kind of just single or?
I'm very single right now. I've pretty much been single for the past 4 or 5 months.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not that like I'm obviously not against being in a relationship right now, but
Mm-hmm.
I've been so busy, and I literally have not been talking to a lot of people outside my family and like my friends on the baseball team and then friends in music. So it's just kind of like it'd be so hard for me to be in a committed relationship right now when I know that like we're not going to be able to go out that much for a while. Like I'm going to be interviewing, playing baseball, recording music. So, yeah, right now I'm single and like probably won't be in a relationship anytime soon.
All of our lady viewers. He's a great guy, baseball player. I mean, all around athlete, loves working out, makes music. If you or one of your friends are interested in that, his social medias will be in the bio. Hit him up. I can guarantee you won't be disappointed if you do hit him up. Maybe he'll take you out on a nice date. I know he's a very genuine guy, and I know a lot of women appreciate that. So let's find Lucas a very good girl.
Might even write a song about it.
You could be featured in one of his next songs, whether it's positive or negative. We never know. You know, the negatives ones they can be very good sometimes, but he could be writing you a love song, and that just shows out of the kindness of his heart what kind of man he is. So, like I said, I know we get a lot of lady viewers. If you or any of your friends, you know anyone that's interested in that, hit this man up. Get him a girlfriend.
I'm kind of interested to see how people react because, I mean, you know this. I'm recording new music in about a week, and it'll be 3 singles kind of spread out throughout the spring. Probably the last one will be released in late May. Um, there was one song that I wrote that is like a really like straight love song,
Mm-hmm.
which I don't write many love songs. Like obviously I go the country route, so I write a lot about like breakups, hometowns. Like I try to write some inspirational stuff too. And like Fall in Love Again, I guess that is kind of a love song, but it's not like a pure love song.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm still debating if I want to record this love song in like a week. But yeah, 3 new songs which will be recorded in about a week, and they'll be released kind of spread out in the spring.
I guarantee he'll make time for you still. Still a busy man. He's making money. He's making his dreams come true. He's still gonna make time for you. I can almost guarantee that. But the last question I had for you is, what is one piece of advice you would give your younger self? Like knowing what you know now, what is like one piece of advice you would give yourself?
Um, it's kind of that's a tough question, but I'm gonna say so. I'm 22 right now. If I were to talk to 18-year-old me, I would just say like have like a very frank discussion with yourself. Don't get you can get advice from people, but look yourself in the mirror and basically say like, what are my dreams? What are my passions in life? And what do I feel like I can do to make the world a better place?
Mm-hmm.
And for me, when I was 18 years old, it was like 100% that would have been music. And I would just want to tell myself, like, if you really believe, as I do now, that music is your passion, it's what you were put on this earth to do, then you have to work as hard as you possibly can. You have to keep believing in yourself no matter what other people say. Because if you still believe, despite what a lot of people may say, if you still believe that you can achieve this goal, then you can, and you have to market, like work with other people, be willing to take criticism, and you just have to keep trying no matter the setbacks. Because there's that quote where they say the only difference between a winner and a loser is a winner tried one more time.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, I would just say to my 18-year-old self, it's like, if you want to be a winner, you just got to try one more time.
For real. Oh, that's great. You have any questions for me?
I mean, it's been a year since our last podcast we filmed together. It's like
Yeah.
almost a year to the day. And I mean, it's just crazy how much has changed for both of us. I mean, at the time, you've gone through a rebranding process with your podcast. You've gotten a lot more viewers and subscribers, and you're doing a lot of new things. And then, obviously, I wish he was here, but, towards the end of our last pod, Tyler told me, like, I posted on social media and I got a lot of hits, but he told me I should release music soon. And I know it took a while, but I finally just said, you know what? I've waited enough. I've practiced enough. I'm ready to get this started. So with Tone Deaf being out, I'm just so thrilled, so excited what's happened the past year. And we'll see what happens next year.
Yeah, I'm super excited to see everything that's dropping and hope and to see all the success you're gonna have in the future. And I mean, me and Tyler will always be behind you. We'll be hyping you up, posting your music, everything like that. So we wish you the best. And I just want to thank you for coming on again. First episode that we had together was our most viewed, and we got the most I would say interactions with fans and followers and everything like that. So thank you for bringing all of them our way. This is definitely not the last one we're going to do together. I can almost guarantee there's going to be a part 3, and I'm super excited, but I mean, maybe the part 3 will be when you're a famous artist somewhere.
Yeah, I mean, I'm open anytime. If part 3 is in 1 year and it's like we both just keep building and building, I think that'll be really exciting. But I'm glad you had me back on. This is exciting.
Yeah, thanks again. If you haven't watched our last episode, me and Tyler got really into it was an internal podcast. We got really into what we look from girls and everything. Make sure to check out his music. It's great. I know he's going to be releasing a lot more songs, but he's got 4 out right now. It's on Spotify, Apple Music,
All streaming services.
all streaming services. I would imagine there's going to be a music video at some point.
I hope so.
Got to check that out because I know it's going to be fire. But I wish you the best with everything that you do, and thanks for coming on again.
Appreciate it, man.